Hiya, it's Stephen here. I'm back with the Hammers Chat patron player rating summary from April, and it's been an interesting month both on and off the field. Obviously, I'm concentrating on the field. There were four matches. The Leeds Cup match was really exciting, and then there was the Wolves match, the Palace match, and the Everton match. As always, I'm going to look at who has got the most man of the matches in the four matches, who's got the highest average ratings for the games that were played, and more importantly, who's got the highest rating, bearing in mind the time on the pitch for each of the players. And so this month and next month will be the usual stuff, and then at the end of the season, I will do a Hammers Chat patron player of the season. Might take a couple of days to sort out after the end of the season, but it will happen. So looking at who's got the most man of the matches now, interestingly against Palace, there was a draw between Mavropanos and Disasi, and both got the same average rating from patrons in the match, of down to the second decimal place. I didn't want to do the third decimal place; it was kind of pointless, really. But they were both really close. So they had half a man of the match again for the Palace game. Mavropanos got another man of the match against Wolves, and Traore in the cup match. And Souček, what a wonderful display that was when we played Everton. The scores for each of the players for each of the matches are shown there. 9.7, 9.1, really high scores. And I could, if I had the energy to do so, look at how high that was compared to all the other ratings I got from this season, last season, and the season before. So I may do that. I'll probably do it at the end of the season. Actually, who's got the highest rating of the season in what match, and how does that compare to previous seasons? Looking at the average ratings per appearance of the game, so Mavropanos had the highest with 8.3, 8.25. And that was followed by Disasi and Walker-Peters. At the bottom, Kilman. His one match was the cup match against Leeds, and no, he didn't get a very good score, did he? So they're the ratings, they're the figures. Pause it if you want to have a better look at it before I move on. Looking at playing time, or proportion of playing time that each individual spent on the pitch. There are three players, well, two players spent every minute of April on the pitch, and Bowen was substituted in the last couple of minutes against Everton, wasn't he? So Disasi, Walker-Peters, Bowen had a lot of time on the pitch. Not interestingly, but if you look at Mavropanos, the Leeds match was such a long match, wasn't it? So he, despite playing full all the minutes, I think, for the other matches, he's only about 70% of time throughout the month that Mavropanos played. Herrick came on the last few minutes against Leeds, got a high score, 6.8, I think, or 6.76, I think, which puts him in the top third of scores for ratings throughout the month. However, if you look at playing time in conjunction with those figures, you'll get what's on the next slide. Move on. So if you take the proportion of time people played for, actually Disasi overtakes Mavropanos in the Hammer of the Month, mainly because he played because Mavropanos didn't play in the cup match, and the cup match was a lot of minutes. So Disasi had a higher proportion of time on the pitch, and therefore his Hammer of the Month score is is higher than Mavropanos. Kilman remains at the bottom. Again, pause it, have a look at the figures, should you wish to. Other interesting things, well, I think they're interesting, but things that I look at, players that we most agree on in the games in the match, and on this occasion it was Scars, but he only played for 16 minutes, as I say there. So that, I don't know. You think, well, if someone comes on and only plays for a few minutes, people are going to mark them as a 5, really, aren't they? So I looked at players that have played more than about a third of more than the third of the time that they could play, and the player that we most agreed on in our ratings was again Mavropanos. The person that we most disagreed on, which is not unusual, was the manager, but the player that we most disagreed on was interestingly Fernandez. The player with the highest rating I've already shown. It was Mavropanos with his 9.7 against Wolves. Players with the lowest rating, unsurprisingly, was Kilman. And one thing I have looked at this month is the consistency between games. So who's the player that has played at a very, very similar level in all the games that they played? And that was, and the Gio and Gonzo speak about that in the player ratings, about who's been the most consistent player. This month it was Walker Peters. Interestingly, the least consistent player was Traore from game to game. He had a man of the match performance, but his other ratings didn't match that. Okay, so the different methods. Who's got the most man of the matches? Mavropanos. Who's got the highest average rating in the games? Again, Mavropanos. However, who's got the highest rating, bearing in mind time on the pitch, was Disasi. So congratulations yet again this month for Axel Disasi, who has won the Hammer of the Month for April 26. The other players that have won in other months are listed there, and there's one more month to go. And isn't it important? Ooh, let's hope. Us or Spurs? Come on, it's got to be us.